catch the facts, not the flu. A lot of people do not understand the serious impacts that the flu can have, and many just believe it's simply a seasonal illness that doesn't affect anyone, or it doesn't have any consequences. But people are still getting the flu. I mean, guys, it has its own season. Now I'm going to give you some general information on how the flu works and how it continues to infect everyone year after year. So, the influenza virus carries its genetic instructions in 8 separate pieces of RNA, which are like mini instruction manuals for making new viruses. These RNA segments are wrapped in protective proteins that help them function properly inside a host cell. When the virus infects someone, it attaches to a cell using a special key-like mechanism and enters through a process called endocytosis. Once inside, the virus uses the acidic environment of the cell to release its RNA into the cell's interior. Unlike most viruses, which copy their genetic material in the cytoplasm, the flu virus travels all the way into the nucleus. This is the part of the cell where our own genetic material is stored. And there it begins to take over. There, the virus uses a clever trick called cap snatching, which is where it steals the beginning segments of a cell's own RNA to jumpstart its own RNA production. This helps the virus make the proteins it needs to build more copies of itself. Then, the virus goes through a 2-step copying process. First, it makes temporary positive versions of its own RNA, and then uses that to make many new full-length viral RNA strands. These new RNA copies are packaged with proteins and assembled into new viruses. Now, once everything is ready, the new virus particles exit the nucleus, move onto the surface of a cell, and release to infect other cells. This entire process hijacks the body's cellular machinery and leads to the symptoms we feel during the flu, like a fever, fatigue, coughing, and sometimes even more than that, as the immune system tries to fight back rapidly against this ever-spreading virus. Now I'm going to hand it over to my girl Avery for some key facts on the flu.
Now let's take a look at some of the key facts that you should know about the flu. The flu is a highly contagious respiratory illness that is caused by the influenza virus. It is mainly spread through tiny droplets that are transferred when people sneeze, cough, or talk. The flu can be an issue for anyone, but it poses more of a threat to certain groups: elderly people who are over the age of 65, children who are younger than the age of 5, and those with existing chronic medical conditions such as asthma, heart disease, or diabetes have a greater risk of a simple flu leading to serious, potentially life-threatening complications. One fact that may surprise many people is that the flu is ranked as the 12th main cause of death in the United States, which shows just how seriously we should be taking this illness. So make sure that you do your part to keep yourself and your loved ones healthy. Now I'll pass it over to Rain to talk about some of the solutions that we have to stay protected.
So what can we do? Do your part to stop the spread of the flu. Get vaccinated, wash your hands frequently, stay home if you are sick. The CDC continues to recommend that everyone ages 6 months and older get an annual flu vaccine as long as influenza viruses are circulating. There are prescription flu antiviral drugs that can treat flu illness. Those should be started as early as possible and are especially important for patients at a higher risk for severe illnesses. Some emergency warning signs of flu complications for adults could be difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, seizures, persistent dizziness, confusion, fever, or cough. Some warning signs of flu complications in children could be fast breathing, blushed lips or face, chest pain, ribs pulling in with each breath. Remember to do your part and get vaccinated.